Okay, welcome everyone. We're doing a deep dive today into a really remarkable but also kind of perplexing story from Vietnam's e-commerce world. We're focusing on Tiki Corporation, a genuine pioneer actually, launched way back in 2010.
That's right. And Tiki started out as an online bookstore, but they really quickly built this stellar reputation. Think top-notch quality products, incredibly fast delivery, and their packaging was so careful and almost became legendary.
Wow.
Yeah, and that really resonated with Vietnamese customers. It earned them huge trust and, well, attracted serious investment too. Hundreds of millions by 2016.
Exactly, and that's what makes their later situation so intriguing. It seemed like they had everything lined up, poised to be Vietnam's Amazon, the brand, the customer trust, the capital. But here's the kicker. By the first quarter of 2025, Tiki's market share had basically tanked. Almost zero. So our mission today is really to unpack the why. How did this massive shift happen? It's almost hard to believe.
And what's fascinating is, after that initial success with books, Tiki didn't just sit still. They had huge ambitions. They diversified aggressively, really pushed to become that all-in-one Amazon of Vietnam. They launched Tiki Now Phuc Du. That was their signature 2-hour delivery service. Pretty advanced logistics behind that.
Like the fast delivery.
Yeah. And they even branched into groceries with Tiki and Gone, tried out social shopping, fashion resale. They were trying a lot.
And the money kept flowing in, didn't it? They hit like a $1 billion valuation at their peak in 2022. Reports suggest maybe over $670 million raised in total. Huge number.
Definitely. And for a while, they were right up there, rated among Vietnam's top e-commerce players, sometimes second only to Shopee and web traffic.
So with all that going for them, what happened? How did that strategic edge just disappear?
Well, if you look at the broader picture, the Vietnamese market itself was changing incredibly fast, like a seismic shift almost. While Tiki was investing heavily in these premium services, fast delivery, quality control, right? Rivals like Shopee and then TikTok Shop came in. They came in with enormous capital and a totally different strategy.
A different playbook.
Exactly.
Yeah.
By 2024, Tiki's market share had shrunk to just 1%. Just 1%. Meanwhile, Shopee was dominating at 65%. And TikTok Shop just exploded onto the scene, grabbing 28% really quickly.
And fast forward to Q1 2025, Tiki's share is basically negligible, off the charts near zero. Shopee and TikTok Shop together, holding, 97% of the market? It's incredible. And it wasn't just market share, right? Financially, they must have been bleeding.
Oh, absolutely. Tiki was operating at significant losses. Year after year, those losses just kept climbing. They hit a staggering 1.8 trillion VND loss back in 2019, and their revenue actually dropped 43% in 2024. Yeah. They were clearly burning through that capital, just trying to stay in the race. And, a big part of Tiki's struggle to adapt wasn't just like one bad decision. It seems like a fundamental misread of how radically consumer behavior was changing in Vietnam. One factor, maybe over-diversification. They launched so many things almost at once, like Tiki Loot for social shopping, Doridori for fashion resale.
Right, I remember hearing about those.
Yeah, but many of them just sort of fizzled out, didn't quite find their market fit, didn't get strong user uptake, and that just drains resources without really building a strong, unified offering.
So spreading themselves way too thin, but what about their original strengths? The quality, that super fast delivery. You'd think that would be their ace, right? Or did that advantage just become irrelevant somehow in the new market landscape?
That's a great way to put it. It's like Tiki built this amazing high-quality service.
For Rolls-Royce, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. A Rolls-Royce for a market that suddenly decided preferred, super fast, cheap scooters with lots of flashing lights. The whole race changed. The Vietnamese market shifted incredibly fast towards, deal hunters with short attention spans.
Okay.
Shopee nailed this with gamified shopping, endless flash sales, and the big one, free shipping. Or at least heavily subsidized shipping. Then TikTok Shop comes in, blending video entertainment seamlessly with impulse buying. That see it, want it, buy it loop was powerful.
Entertainment as shopping.
Precisely. And Tiki's model focused on premium quality and efficient, but costly, logistics. It just couldn't pivot. Their high operating costs for that premium delivery became a huge liability when competitors were basically giving shipping away.
And didn't they have some issues operationally, too, like making it harder for sellers to get on the platform?
Yeah, that was another friction point. Their vetting process for sellers was quite strict. Approval times could be up to 48 hours. Compared to other platforms that were much faster, more lenient, it made Tiki less attractive for sellers.
Which limits your product variety, doesn't it? Kind of a downward spiral.
Absolutely. Marketplaces need those network effects. More sellers bring more buyers attract more sellers. Tiki's barriers kind of choke that off. And those escalating losses, starting way back in 2016, they really show that the core business model, even with all that funding, wasn't proving sustainable at scale. That growth at all costs approach, without a clear line of sight to actually making money, well, it left them vulnerable. Turned out to be very costly indeed.
It really is such a stark contrast, isn't it? You go from this beloved pioneer, the company that genuinely taught a whole generation in Vietnam that online shopping could be safe, fast, reliable, friendly. They really dared to dream big. And now, well, these current struggles.
It's a really powerful case study, I think. You have a strong brand, you have sophisticated logistics, hundreds of millions in capital. But that inability to adapt fast enough to how customers were changing, especially that huge shift towards gamified entertainment shopping and the absolute demand for free shipping, it just proved incredibly challenging when facing these global giants with deep pockets and different strategies. It really hammers home that market leadership isn't a permanent state. It demands constant innovation, constant adaptation, the willingness to pivot, even when it's hard.
So, listening to this, what does Tiki's journey, its trajectory, teach you about the real cost of chasing growth at all costs? And maybe about finding that critical balance between expanding rapidly and building something actually sustainable, profitable, especially in today's hyper-competitive digital world. Something to think about.